When I was young, I wanted to be an artist.
Well, to be honest with you, I've had a hard time working from the landscape in Minnesota. When I first got here, it was hard for me to find the enchantment.
Why is it I'm drawn to a certain Midwest landscape over and over again?
I think there is this inherent value in taking the time to look at the world and say something back through making a piece of art.
So I'm wondering how different temperaments and different childhoods, perhaps, what that has to do with how we connect to particular places.
He and I just started this conversation about why we paint certain things in certain landscapes that aren't the landscapes we grew up in, and how we start to look for things that were familiar to us from the previous landscape.
You know, I can remember this one Bierstadt painting that my grandma had over her couch and staring at it, logging hours of staring at it as a kid and thinking about what was it like to be in that space.
I do love to go on a location and spend time alone and become sensitized to that place and watch it change in season, watch myself change.
I do realize this, and as I get older, like we all realize, time runs out. So I'm now in my 50s and I'm over halfway. Time's running out, so you really want to enjoy the gift that you have.
We long for things that make us feel whole and make us feel complete. And we don't get to experience that very often.
We have way too much sloppy, sentimental landscapes hanging on people's walls.
I mean, how many sunsets can you see with geese flying over and little wooden shacks in the north of Minnesota? I mean, talk about, they're depressing. It's important to really feel the painting. You've got to feel the color, you have to feel the space and the form, and then you realize, yes, this is the equivalent of the space that I know and remember from the landscape.
I hate what's happening, so I just start scraping stuff off. I'm not trying to control where that goes. I'm just trying to get back to something.
You mean, you see this when you look at that? Nothing any good.
And I come in and I start to clean off my palette and mix paint. It's just like crazy exuberance.
That's why you do it. It's a pleasurable thing.
That's what I'm painting for. I love that feeling, and I'm trying to chase it down.